Hi, I'm Paul Edwards. I'm an independent author who's written 6 Mourner's Woods books that are available on Amazon.com. And I want to tell you about my number one rule for writing fantastic fiction. And I mean fantastic in the sense of unrealistic. And I think this is true for my genre, which is horror, but it's also true for other far out genres like science fiction or, swords and sorcery. It's even true of melodrama, things like soap operas. Anything that's unrealistically wild. And my number one rule for writing fantastic fiction is your situation, your premise can be as far out as you want, but your character's actions have to be grounded, realistic, and authentic. For example, my stories all take place in a forest. If characters are walking through a forest and a monster jumps out of the bushes, readers will grant you that initial premise. They'll grant you that there's a monster in the forest. Otherwise, they wouldn't have picked up the book in the first place. But the characters' reactions to the monster jumping out of the bushes had better be realistic. Realistic meaning not just suddenly screaming or running away. If some strange creature jumped out of the bushes, your first reaction would be confusion and surprise. You would say, what is going on here? And you would think maybe it was a prank or a trick. You would, not be sure what was really happening. And then if the monster, advanced on you growling, then you might run or even scream. That would be plausible. But upon first seeing a monster, you're not going to scream. And this is a common problem I find in a lot of genre movies, especially if you look at the 1950s where they cranked out monster movies. There was a new one out every week. A lot of times the characters would fall into these stereotypical behaviors where if the monster popped out, the female character would always scream or even faint, and the male character would, bravely stand ready to fight it. And neither one of those is a realistic reaction. Anybody is going to just be surprised when they see something unusual. So my number one rule of fantastic fiction is that a character's reactions to whatever strange thing you're putting out there has to be realistic. If it's a soap opera and, a character has come back from the dead and is interrupting the wedding, that's a far out situation. But you can sell that situation if the character's actions and dialogue is authentic sounding. What would someone really say and really do in this situation? My Mourner's Woods books are available on Amazon.com. 99 cents for each ebook, $9.99 for paperback.